Did you know that Dandadan almost got cancelled? Or the mystery behind Okarun's mask? Here are 25 small details you probably missed in Dandadan. Starting with the huge secret about Turbo Granny. While watching the Japanese dub, I couldn't help but notice her voice sounded awfully familiar. After doing some research, I realized I was right. Turbo Granny's voice actress is Mayumi Tanaka, the iconic voice behind Luffy from One Piece and Krillin from Dragon Ball. Interestingly, Mayumi is a huge fan of the Dandadan manga and insisted on voicing Turbo Granny herself, refusing to let anyone else take the role. But she's not the only iconic One Piece voice actor in the show. In episode 1, we are introduced to these aliens called Serpos. One of them is actually voiced by Kazuya Nakai, the voice actor for Zoro, which is really cool. But an even cooler secret lies in the first episode of the anime. If you look closely when Okarun shows Momo his notebook, you'll notice a drawing of US President Donald Trump hidden in the background. At first glance, it seems like a small detail, but this is completely different from the manga, where the drawing features former President Barack Obama instead. But this isn't the first time the anime has changed some things from the manga. If we skip to the scene in the manga, where we see the UFO created by Mr. Mantis Shrimp, you'll notice it looks extremely similar to the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, which is a super cool reference. However, the animators decided to change the design, mostly due to copyright issues. While watching episode 1, I noticed some weird Japanese letters written on Granny Seiko's baseball bat. But what do they actually mean? Well, it says Neshi no Chikara, which translates to Power of Nessie in English. This references the legendary Loch Ness monster, commonly known as Nessie, which symbolizes immense strength and mystery. Seiko uses this bat alongside her unique ability, the power of words, kotodama, to enhance her physical prowess in combat. By invoking the name Nessie, she amplifies the force of her swings. Now we've got to talk about this crazy Dragon Ball reference in the manga. If you zoom in on this panel, you'll notice that the alien in the background is striking a pose that looks almost identical to the one Frieza uses in Dragon Ball. This reference gets even cooler when you realize that Frieza is also an alien. While watching the opening theme, I noticed not one, but 5 crazy Easter eggs. Take this one, for example. If you pause exactly at 15 seconds, you'll see an alien dancing. This is actually a reference to the Ultraman series, but that's not all. 8 seconds later, if you slow down the scene of Momo performing a kick, you'll notice something interesting. She resembles Ultraman in the Ultraman 1966 opening, especially with a green earring tilted upwards. The third Easter egg happens at the 59-second mark. You'll spot a clip of Momo, Gigi, and Okarun dancing in the background. Momo's dance moves are identical to the ones Rihanna used in her music video for Where Have You Been? While both Gigi and Okarun are doing the iconic Charleston dance, which was first popularized by Will Smith in the 1990 sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The fourth Easter egg is super cool. If you slow down some of the scenes in the opening, you'll notice colors that foreshadow yokai and aliens we'll encounter later in the episodes. For example, we see the Serpos and the Turbo Granny at the beginning of the opening, both of which appear in the first episode. We also get a glimpse of the Flatwoods monster, shown in the second episode, the acrobatic Silky Yokai, introduced in episode 7, the earthbound spirit crab from episode 4, and finally, Mr. Mantis Shrimp that was eventually shown in episode 9. For the fifth Easter egg, if you skip to the scene of Okarun running and slow it down, you'll notice it looks identical to the running scene of Akira from Devilman Crybaby. There's a reason for this. The animation staff behind Dandadan is Science Saru, the same team that worked on Devilman Crybaby. Also, towards the end of the opening theme, when Okarun's background turns red and a burst of light appears when he punches, it's actually a reference to the scene where Ultraman appears. For the sixth and final Easter egg, if you pause right here, you'll notice artwork featuring both Okarun and Momo. At first glance, it seems simple, but this is actually a reference to the golden record sent into space with Voyager in 1977. The golden record contains data showcasing Earth's life, culture, and its location, intended for any alien that might find it. The level of detail in this is just incredible. And while those Easter eggs are really cool, did you know there are also hidden Easter eggs in the lyrics of the opening? Yeah, you heard that right. In the verse where the artist sings Sada-chan and Kaya-chan, those words actually reference the two ghosts from the popular Japanese horror movie Sadako vs. Kayako. And in an interview, Yukinobu Tatsu, the creator of Dandadan, mentioned that he's a huge fan of the series. Speaking of the creator, did you know Tatsu almost didn't create Dandadan? After working on Chainsaw Man and Hell's Paradise, he faced multiple rejections and was ready to quit manga. But his editor encouraged him to draw freely, giving him the freedom to pursue his vision. This advice led to Dandadan, blending action, comedy, and supernatural thriller. Tatsu's success came from his persistence and his editor's support, who even had him read 100 shoujo mangas to help him understand human emotions, crucial for the depth of Dandadan. Man, that editor is a legend. While watching Dandadan, I couldn't help but notice this weird detail with the ending of each episode. During the ending of every episode, there's always a dinner scene. But why is that? Well, I did some research and found out that Tatsu explained in an interview that it's inspired by his love for Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki Hayao's work. In Miyazaki's films, people who've worked hard always eat, symbolizing the reward for their efforts. Tatsu believes that people who work hard should be rewarded, and that kindness is key. He even shared a personal story about being grateful for a small meal when he was struggling as an assistant. It is a memory that has stayed with him. In Dandadan, these meal scenes convey hope and kindness, and Tatsu wants readers to feel rewarded. Moving on, did you know there's a huge Easter egg behind Okarun's mask? Okarun's mask looks strikingly similar to Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. They even share the same first name, Ken, but that's not all. They also share the same Japanese voice actor, Natsuki Hanae, who also voices Tanjiro in Demon Slayer. In episode 1, during the scene where Momo is walking down the hallway, if you look closely, you'll spot a reference to the way Doflamingo walks in One Piece. The resemblance is pretty noticeable and adds an extra layer of coolness to the scene. Now let's talk about 2 insane Easter eggs you probably missed. In episode 1, Granny Seiko wears a very familiar eye mask, one that's similar to the one by Okita Sogo from Gintama. But that's not all. During the scene where Granny Seiko lifts her eye mask, it looks strikingly similar to the scene where Gojo does the same in Jujutsu Kaisen. Before we move on to the next Easter egg, if you're having a great time so far and want to be entered in our video shoutout giveaway, simply subscribe and comment, I subbed, and you'll be entered. This shoutout giveaway goes to @Evan_Suarez. Thanks for being a part of the family. Let's get back to the cutest Easter egg. In episode 12, when Gigi and Okarun are dancing and goofing around, they sing a couple of songs that might seem random at first, but they actually have hidden meanings. For example, the song Okarun sings is similar to the one in the ending theme of the anime Slam Dunk, while the song Gigi sings references the Slam Dunk opening theme song. In episode 1, during the scene where Okarun is drawing in his notebook, if you zoom in a bit, you'll notice a cat drawing. This is a reference to a viral cat video called Happy Happy. In chapter 129 of the Dandadan manga, there's a hilarious moment. Momo and Okarun infiltrate a police station to recover Okarun's family jewels. Okarun casually drops a reference to Spy Family, but it gets even better. In recent episodes of Spy Family, Yor and Melinda have a conversation. Melinda talks about believing in ghosts, aliens, UFOs, and telepathy. Here's the cool part. Both Dandadan's Tatsu and Spy Family's creators were once assistants to Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man. This reference feels like a playful shout out to each other's work, which is super wholesome. Did you know Dandadan broke an insane record? According to IMDb, it holds the title for the highest rated first episode of all time, surpassing even One Piece and Attack on Titan, which is just insane! Speaking of insane details, if you compare the scene in episode 8 to the iconic Godzilla moment, you'll notice something interesting. It's an exact replica, right down to the blasting motion. The level of detail and referencing by the animators is absolutely mind-blowing. In episode 9 of Dandadan, the shrimp alien gets a power upgrade from Serponian. After that, he starts singing a catchy song about workers. This tune is actually a reference to an old Japanese energy drink commercial for Regain. Both the lyrics and melody are strikingly similar to the jingle from that iconic ad. In episode 2, when Okarun and Momo are fleeing from the Flatwoods monster, if you slow the scene down, they're mimicking the iconic Tom Cruise run from Mission Impossible. Here's a wild Easter egg from episode 12. When Momo and Okarun visit Gigi's home, if you take a close look at the books on his shelves, hidden among them are Dandadan manga cameos. We all know Momo is a huge Ken Takakura fan, but he's not the only actor referenced in the series. In episode 10, during a detective scene, Momo parodies the iconic 90s detective show Furuhata Ninzaburo. That's not all. There's another clever nod when she makes a face strikingly similar to that of another famous Japanese actor, Hiroshi Abe. Now those are some crazy Easter eggs. But if you want to see something even crazier, then click on this video. What are you staring at? Click it!